Hello there, everybody. Today I want to talk about a very special individual, someone who is, if not completely responsible for the entire eradication of the Empire. Someone who is responsible for the malfunctioning hardware of all the systems, the person who was responsible for the creation of the Death Star, or at least took control of the Death Star. Someone who is so responsible for the creation of the rebellion in every way, shape, and form that his policies and his doctrine specifically caused all of these rebel cells to emerge from the woodwork and to fight against the Empire to the point where the Death Star plans got stolen, the Death Star got blown up, and he got blown up along with it. I am talking about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Grand Moff Tarkin. So today we are going to be talking about Grand Moff Tarkin and how his doctrine and his ideologies caused the entirety of the Empire to plummet into a falling rock and basically destroy the entirety of the Empire as we know it. So here we go. Tarkin's first ideology was his own doctrine that he liked to label the Tarkin Doctrine, to create a completely unified society and a completely unified galaxy by controlling everybody through fear, thus the creation of the Death Star and his full command of the Death Star battle station. Tarkin thought that he could control everybody through fear and fear alone, making sure that everybody stayed under complete duress by not only just using tens of thousands of Imperial-class Star Destroyers that could rule over an entire system individually, but also using millions of clone troopers, stormtroopers, Imperial agents, and scouts, as well as several governors, to control every system imaginable to where they would have the ability to control literally everything in the galaxy. Unfortunately, the Tarkin Doctrine was not very effective, considering that the Doctrine itself is what caused the rebellion to have a full scale and power. During the final stages of the construction of the first Death Star, Tarkin effectively used this newly developed space station to target the planet known as Alderaan. Alderaan was a planet that was extremely peaceful and that had no weapons, no military, and had no ability to defend itself, especially from the Empire. Alderaan was effectively the most peaceful planet that it could be, mostly known for philosophists, poets, and individuals that would help on recovery missions as well as humanitarian aid for those planets that were going through massive strife like damaged ecosystems and damaged by war. Tarkin effectively thought that the best idea was to use the Death Star to destroy the planet Alderaan, and through the destruction of Alderaan, everyone would fall into line just as he had predicted. The problem is that that didn't work. Instead of all the planets coming together and saying, we obey the Tarkin Doctrine, we obey the Empire, it turned out that had the opposite effect, and in actuality caused the rebellion to collaborate even further and to become the full-on scale rebellion that we see in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Before this, all of the rebel cells had been completely scattered throughout the entirety of the galaxy. There was no singular threat that the Empire could fight against. It was multiple cells throughout multiple sectors, throughout multiple systems, multiple planets that would use hit-and-run tactics, guerrilla-style fighting, and other various tactics of the sort that would target the Empire on multiple fronts. But instead, through the destruction of Alderaan, the death of Bail Organa, as well as the death of millions, if not billions, of people on the planet of Alderaan, and the disruption of the Force, the entirety of the rebellion would band together, destroy the Death Star, and would finally have a singular cause to fight against the Empire, which would be later known as the Rebel Alliance. Because this is effectively where shit hits the fan. Because before that time, when all the cells were just scattered across the galaxy, it wasn't that big of a deal to the Empire. There wasn't really anything that was too massive enough for them to have an actual dent put into the Empire. Just small worlds out in the Outer Rim and probably a little bit of the Mid-Rim that effectively just wanted to be free from Imperial rule and that didn't want to suffer under Imperial tyranny. But instead, core worlds and mid-rim worlds started contributing to the rebellion. People started betraying the Empire to go to the rebellion. Mon Calamari cruisers started joining the rebellion forces, and God knows how many individuals throughout the Empire actually betrayed the Empire to join the Republic and the rebellion so they could finally take out the Empire once and for all. Effectively, Tarkin had taken The secure empire that everybody had known about, that everybody had feared for over a decade, and had effectively destroyed it just through one act of destroying the planet of Alderaan and killing billions of people. So effectively, because of Tarkin's inability to see the bigger picture and his thought process on his own doctrine being that of using fear to control everybody and using a massive military force to control the entire galaxy, he unfortunately did not see the bigger picture in that they gave a reason to fight. He gave them a reason to fight through their massive military force, through the Death Star, through the destruction of Alderaan, through the oppression that people have been feeling for 20 years. Because of Tarkin, people had the willingness to fight. Because of the destruction of the Death Star, people had hope, and because of all of that, Tarkin was killed and the Empire was defeated. Thank you, Tarkin. You are the reason why the rebellion